sorry folks, but this time I'm going to discuss a serious matter, so no joke around for now. So I was scrolling through Reddit, as one does, and I stumbled upon this ancient discussion from 4 years ago. Yeah, I know. It's basically a fossil at this point, but the issues they raised are still alive and kicking today. The post was a merciless roast of IDV YouTubers, blaming them for creating something called pro mentality, where everyone's obsessed with playing perfectly, like it's some kind of holy doctrine. You know, the kite like a god, or your trash mindset. And this isn't just some harmless trend, it's spreading like a damn virus, infecting players everywhere and turning the Identity V community into a pool of toxic expectations and pressure. Surprisingly, as a YouTuber myself, I can't help but agree with a lot of what they said. Though, let me tell you, there's a hell of a lot more to this than just blaming YouTubers. Because the way I see it, the real problems lies with the gamers who've bought into this toxic BS. Well, let me break it down for you. At its core, Identity V is a competitive multiplayer game designed to pit players against each other in a battle of skills. Think of it as the Hunger Games, but with slightly less murder and more kiting. The game naturally pushes you to excel, to be better than the rest. And why? To keep the game alive, of course. Well, let's think about it. If there weren't any competitiveness in this game, I'm sure it would have been abandoned by its players long ago. Due to its nature, the game offers certain features, with ranked matches as the main menu. In these ranked matches, people, driven by their competitive nature, struggle to improve by winning. The game offers its players some rewards for attaining certain ranks, such as in-game currencies and badges to show off to others. This, in turn, creates a problem in itself, which I will explain later on. Aside from ranked matches, the game also offers other modes, such as quick matches, which can either be a way for casual players to enjoy the game, or for those rank junkies to train. There are also some mini-games offered so that people wouldn't get too bored with pursuing rank. But still, even with so many modes available, the main attraction is of course ranked matches. In the process, this creates two categories of players in general. On one side, we've got the casual players, the ones who are in it for a good time, not a long time. For them, the game is just a way to unwind, a bit of fun after a long day. They jump into a match, and it's all about the thrill of the chase, the laughs, the occasional, oops, I got caught, but no big deal. It's just a game, right? The second category of players is the hardcore ones. You know, the ones who didn't start out planning to dedicate half their lives to a game, but somehow ended up there anyway. They probably began as casuals, just looking to unwind after a long day, maybe escape the horrors of adulting. But Identity V had other plans for them. You see, it's all about the juicy rewards tied to climbing the ranks. Those shiny badges and top-tier titles that make you feel like you've really made it in life. The way I see it, tier lists in Identity V, or any competitive game, are like a virtual caste system. High-ranked players, they're treated like royalty, getting all the praise and adoration. Meanwhile, those of us languishing in the lower tiers are basically the game's peasants, quietly hoping nobody asks about our rank because we'd rather not admit to it. The plot twist is, this social hierarchy isn't just a fluke, it's a trap laid out by the game designers. They want you to believe that your value as a player, and maybe even as a person, is all about how high you can climb on that tier list. Hardcore gamers didn't set out to become hardcore. They were just like everyone else, using games to dodge the stress of life. But something shifted. They found more than just entertainment in the game, they found validation. As they climbed those ranks, people started treating them differently, with more respect, like they'd unlocked some secret achievement in life. Suddenly, these badges weren't just virtual bling. They were a badge of honor, something to be proud of. And the attention doesn't stop there. Other players start looking up to them, eager to hear their strategies or watch them pull off some sick moves in the game. They've found their niche, their little corner of the world where they're kings and queens. Still, this newfound status is a double-edged sword. They've poured so much of themselves into this game that it's started to swallow them whole. It's damaging, but they can't break free. The game has become their escape from the real world, where the pressures of school, work, and life are all too real. The fear of slipping up, of losing that hard-earned status, keeps them trapped, clinging to the game like it's the only thing that gives them a sense of worth, even as it pulls them further away from reality. Now let's take a step back and think about it. Climbing the ranks demands an insane amount of time to practice. So what does that leave for real life? Do you really want to spend hours practicing kiting instead of feeding your goldfish? For the hardcore players who've let the game take over their lives, the answer is always yes. Because for them, the game and the high tier are their validation. The game has become their home, and they're terrified of losing it by facing reality. This led to them wanting to win again and again because their validation, their joy, basically, all the things they can't find in the wilds of real life are tucked away in their precious winning streaks. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone loves to win. But here's where it gets a bit worrisome. Since life outside the game isn't exactly filled with rainbows and unicorns for them, winning becomes their everything. So much so that they sometimes go full villain mode, trash-talking the losers like they're auditioning for a role in the next big blockbuster. And the real drama starts when they lose. Suddenly, the world's ending, and it's all their teammates' fault. They start spouting off slurs, mixing in a healthy dose of nonsense, and they might even toss in a threat or two for good measure. And that, my friends, is why I said in the video thumbnail, go touch some grass. Now, for the final question, are YouTubers also to blame for this? YouTubers, or content creators, create content for others to enjoy. In Identity 5, YouTubers produce various contents, such as guides, gameplay, theories, rants, funny moments, and more. Most, if not all, YouTubers work for views because that's how they earn their income. The more views their videos get, the more popular they become, and the more revenue they generate. As a result, they strive to create engaging content about Identity 5, share it, and gain popularity through it. As I mentioned before, Identity 5 is designed to be competitive, which naturally pushes players to excel. YouTubers, in their pursuit of views and success, often amplify this competitive atmosphere. They showcase high-level plays, strategies, and kiting techniques, which viewers then try to emulate. This isn't inherently bad, it's simply what content creators do. However, issues arise when this pursuit of perfection becomes toxic. That is, when players feel constant pressure to perform at their best and are harshly criticized for mistakes. This creates an unhealthy environment within the community. But, again, they are doing their job. That's why I believe it's unfair to place all the blame on IDV YouTubers. After all, they are doing their job, creating content that resonates with their audience. The fact that these types of videos continue to attract viewers indicates that there's a demand for them. That's why, in my view, the larger issue lies with the players themselves. The Redditors I mentioned earlier have criticized IDV YouTubers for fostering an environment where everyone strives to become a pro. They argue that by creating guide videos on how to kite effectively and showcasing their winning gameplay while downplaying losses, these content creators contribute to a competitive mindset where players forget the enjoyment of the game. However, a competitive mindset is what this game creates in the first place. And please consider this. If viewers didn't seek out or watch these types of videos, the becoming a pro syndrome might not even exist. YouTubers create content about becoming a pro because it resonates with their audience, especially those who identify as hardcore gamers. Without an audience interested in guides or pro gameplay, these content creators wouldn't be motivated to produce such videos. This reinforces the point that the issue isn't solely with the YouTubers, but with the players themselves. Casual gamers are typically not concerned with terms like kite or noob, nor are they overly influenced by content creators offering guides. If Redditors are blaming IDV YouTubers for the rise of a hardcore gaming environment, it's important to recognize that the real cause might lie with the players who seek out and perpetuate this competitive mindset. Ultimately, if players approached Identity V with a focus on enjoyment rather than competition, the impact of such content would likely diminish. So, while YouTubers do play a role, the underlying issue may be more about the players' own choices and attitudes toward the game. If the hardcore players recognize that Identity V is just a game, not their life, they would likely experience more fun and stress relief rather than pressure and obsession. And if players kept this perspective in mind, we probably wouldn't see as many guide videos on how to kite. In conclusion, while YouTubers certainly play a role, they're not the sole culprit. It's the players who are fueling this cycle by seeking out and indulging in this competitive content. If we're looking to shift away from this hardcore mentality, it's up to us as players to reflect on our own attitudes and approach to the game. These are just my thoughts and opinions, so feel free to add or correct anything in the comments section. Just please keep the conversation respectful and free from toxicity or hate speech. Thanks for listening to my rant, and I hope to see you again in the funny videos I usually make.